Hello, 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 eBay sellers. Come on in, come on in. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. And today we're going to talk about great how to unlock the secret to great eBay listing keywords. And I picked this topic because of something, and I'll tell you all about it at the end. But I was looking in some various Facebook groups and I noticed several sellers, and some of my more experienced sellers, so yay, more experienced sellers, saying, I'm getting a little frustrated because I've got these listings up and I've done my research and it's just not selling. So I am here to help you unlock the secret to great eBay listing keywords. And the thing with the great eBay listing keywords is the way the say that one fast, the way eBay search algorithms work have changed. And it's changed over the past couple of years. And if you were selling successfully 5 or 6 years ago, yay, if you were, and you've recently come back, you'll notice that it's changed. So the search algorithms have changed. What works to get your listing sold has changed. So it's worth it to revisit keywords and how to optimize listings. And when people say optimize listings, what that means is how to create a listing that will stand out in eBay search. As you may have noticed, there are more and more and more eBay sellers daily, and there's more and more and more inventory daily. And what you may not be aware of, and this is something that the eBay CEO, Jamie Iannone, has spoken about at the last couple's earnings calls, and it's not unique to eBay, by the way. This is true for all the online selling platforms, is with world events from the past couple of years, there was a huge surge in online selling because brick and mortar retailers just weren't available. They were shut down. Okay. Then as they reopen, so brick and mortar retailer was shut down, huge surge in online selling in most categories, including shortages and all kinds of things. Remember toilet paper going for $50 and things like that. Is that now with stores reopen, people are back inside of brick and mortars. Okay. Now, what that means is, yes, there's still a lot of shopping going on, but the online shopping has decreased somewhat. So, what that means is there's still all of us sellers, and there's more sellers coming onto eBay. E-commerce is growing as far as sellers and inventory goes. And what that means is if you were selling 2 or 3 years ago or 5 or 6 years ago, and you've continued to sell on eBay, yay, if you have, that's me. I've been selling over 15 years, is there's more competition. It's a very rare category. And if you can find one, let me know. Actually, I think I know of one, but it's really nichey. But basically, even in a very small niched category, there is competition. Even if you have a very unique item, let's say it's a unique Swedish item, unique Norwegian item, South American item, could be handcrafted, a unique artisan item. May not be an exact match to that, but there will be another Scandinavian unique item or South American unique item. It's very rare, perhaps with artwork or signed things. And I'm thinking with some very collectible books, perhaps, where it's extremely rare to get a signed first edition of something where you won't have a lot of competition. But that's very rare. Typically, with just about any category, you have competition. And again, if it's not an exact match, it'll be something similar. So it's super important to have really good keywords, what you say in your title, and also the item specifics that you select for your item really impact how your item ranks in search, which means how it's showing up to your shoppers. And you want to rank as well as possible. If you haven't heard it, you can hop over to my YouTube and I talk about, can something sell with just a few views? And the answer is yes. Because when you're constructing your listing, it's not about the number of views. It's about getting the right views, okay? You want somebody that is looking for the blue pen to find your blue pen. If they are looking for a blue purse You don't want them finding your blue pen. You want them to find a blue purse. So it's about getting the right view. I want somebody who's looking perhaps for a pen, for a blue pen. This has some silver in it. So maybe they're looking for a silver pen too. eBay might show my pen to them. Okay. But what I wanted to show you is, so you've got your listing up, and you think it's for the research that you did using Solds and Terapeak, and Terapeak is eBay's research tool. It's free to everybody. So definitely take advantage of that. From the research that you did, you really thought that this item would sell, let's say, under a year. Okay. And it's been sitting there and you're coming up on a year and it hasn't sold. So the first thing to do is to check Solds, because what can happen is that you have listed your item, you picked a great price at the time you listed it. But since you listed it, when you check Solds, sure enough, somebody came in after you, they listed something similar, they undercut you by a few dollars, and the item sold. So take a look at what the going rate is now, because when you listed it, maybe it was 50, 60, now it's 30, 40. And if you're concerned about pricing, like you're not exactly sure what it is and you've picked what you think is a fair price, it's always smart to put best offer on it, because that way people can send you offers, and oftentimes that will get the item sold. So if you don't have best offer on your items, consider adding best offer. And then the next thing, and this is what I wanted to talk about, is how to unlock the secret to great keywords. And many sellers, myself included, will sell a variety of items. So certain items I might be really up on the keywords, but it's always good to refresh. And other items, I'll look at the item and I go, okay, blue pen, it's a ballpoint, but I might be missing some keywords, some things that I hadn't thought of. And how can I quickly get an idea of what those keywords are? eBay search, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So I picked a broad category, and this is an homage to my mom. So my mom is a huge tea lover. I love tea too, and taught me how to brew a correct cup of tea. And I want to show you, because people love tea. If you don't know it, tea is a great category on eBay, all kinds of tea, but also vintage tea ware. And that's what we're going to take a look at. So what I wanted to look at was, and I want to do the search first before I do the Solds, is, so you have a teapot, because again, teaware is something you can source pretty much anywhere you are in the United States and around the world. And so you want to take a look at, should I be buying this teapot, or I've got this teapot bought, or this is my own personal teapot and I want to sell it on eBay. Here we are, for sale. That's what I wanted. What should I be looking at? So first of all, in case you're thinking, Kathy, teapots. Yes, teapots. There's over 24,000 teapots on eBay. So this is a huge, broad category with a lot of competition and a lot of Solds, right? So always when you're looking to source something, or if you're deciding whether something's worth listing from your own personal, you're downsizing, is take a look at, not only is it listed, and this is where my newer sellers can get themselves in trouble. It's not just, is it listed? Does it sell? Okay, because you can see, and I've done this with clients. I've done this with my Love to Be Selling Insider members, where it's like, yeah, this is such a great item. It's such a great band, or maybe I paid X, Y, and Z for it. And I list it without researching Solds. And there may even be 100 of them up, or 200 up. With this, there's quite a few up. But guess what? None have sold recently. So then that tells me something. Okay. So with teapots, and I did vintage ceramic teapot. I said, let's go for the vintage ones. I mean, really, I'm telling you, you could spend an hour here. There are so many beautiful teapots. Okay. So again, you have a beautiful teapot and you've listed it, and do look, because they really are gorgeous. But again, I've had my gorgeous teapot. I've had it up for a while, and realized, particularly if it's very unique, it might take a little more time to sell. But it's particularly important for something like a vintage teapot, but this is going to be true for vases, all kinds of home decor, also vintage clothing, is the keywords. Because I want to have the right keywords with my item so that the buyer can find it. Because if I don't, eBay doesn't know enough about it to surface my item in search. And that's why the keywords are so important. And if you're not aware of this, and eBay has said this now several times publicly in the past year or two, is that for search, eBay search, They're pulling terms from your title and item specific. So your title is super important. So let's take a look at solds, and that's what I wanted to do. So let's take a look at the ones that sold, because what I want to do is harvest some really good keywords. Is this for sale or is this, I think these are the solds. Yes, solds. Okay, good. What I'm after is, yes, to see what's sold, because I might have one in the house. Like I might have a Corningware with the blue flowers in the house, and then I can list it. Okay. And this one had all kinds of accoutrements with it. But let's take a look at the keywords that they're using, because that's what I'm after to help me with my sales. So the first one is vintage teapot, and they knew it was a Kensington. The other thing to notice is they put the height in. Okay. The Corningware, the 4-cup, it's the stovetop. Boy, I think my mom had one of these, and my grandma. Stovetop coffee pot. People love the stovetop coffee pot still, the percolators. Blue cornflower. They're calling out the pattern, and they're showing the pieces in the picture. Then this one, interesting. It's hand-painted, unmarked, but they know what it is. It's a koi fish. So when I look at the teapot, is it an animal? And if you go through the teapots, there's all kinds. There's owls and there's cats and everything. So is there an animal? Can I call it out? Okay. And if you're not exactly sure what animal, like you may not know that this is a koi fish, by going through the solds, you'll find one similar to yours and you recognize it. Then we've got a fun one. This is a Brown Betty style teapot. So again, you might have one like this because I recognize this style, or you see it when you're out sourcing. And look at this. So then you go in and take a look at the listing and see, was there anything distinctive about this Brown Betty that it sold? Okay, but that style, that glaze, that shape, that is a Brown Betty teapot. And there's actually, you can Google that. There's a lot of information on the internet about Brown Betty. Fiesta ware, very, very popular. And they were smart. They called out the colors in this, okay? So they're calling out the colors, yellow, okay, teapot Fiesta with handle. Again, because some teapots don't have handles. Then below we got vintage teapot with turn lock lid. That I thought was so smart because some of them lock, right? So you look at your teapot, does it lock? Does the lid lock? Anything like that. So smart. Again, is there anything unique about my teapot that I can call out? This one is an IKEA teapot. So again, we know the brand and it was never used. Now, this is great because oftentimes I've done this, you have a favorite item and it breaks or gets hurt, perhaps in moving or just in living, and you want to match. You have an IKEA teapot. You love this IKEA teapot. They don't make it anymore. Guess where you buy it? You buy it on eBay. And this one was never used. And again, look at these prices. They vary all over, which is super. I love the mini fruit and vegetable teapot set. That looks like something that a collector would buy. Again, back to the vintage Corningware cornflower. Okay, so obviously if I come across this, it sells. Again, not for a gazillion dollars, but it sells. But they knowing the brand and the style. Tomato teapot with lid and handle. So smart because again, especially with some of the vintage, sometimes the lid is missing. Okay, lid and handle, and they know the style and everything. And then this one I liked, red cherries. I love it. Okay, so they're calling out what it is. Red cherries, Midwest of Cannon Falls. And how do you know? Because when you flip it over, it's on the bottom. So again, oftentimes the make is on the bottom of the teapot so they can call it out. And then the listing was nice because they did some nice close-ups of the cherries so you could see how nice they were. And then right below, vintage yellow, what are they calling this? Hang on a second, I got to come over here. Celestial Sun teapots retro. Boy, are they. That bright color. So again, locking, handles, calling out what it is, tomato or the brand, mid-century modern, the pattern. So again, I'm looking at my teapot, the Brown Betty, okay? Looking at the teapot, because somebody might have the Brown Betty. Oh, it's a brown teapot. Check the solds, okay? Even go on eBay. You could go on eBay. I think brown teapot would have an awful lot. But again, you could certainly search brown teapot and then click solds. Okay. Same thing too. If you had this one with the cherries, you could click solds. But what the sellers did in every single one of these is they really looked at what they were selling, and they're calling out the brand. They're calling out the style. They're calling out what is unique about the item. It has a handle, that the top locks, the style, the color, the pattern. And with this one, it's a whole set, and they're showing you the set. Okay. So that's why whenever you're going into a big category like this, and tea is a very large category, same thing would be for coffee, but it's true for anything, right? The rock and roll t-shirts, the Nike shirts or whatever, is you do your best, you put the listing up, and then if it doesn't sell right away, go back and do the research. And it also pays to do the research at the beginning and quickly, because you could go through 20, 25 teapots quickly and take a look at what are they calling out? Its brand, its color, and then look at it. You may go, well, they can see it has a handle. Put it in the title. It's got a handle. It's bright yellow, celestial sun, blue cornflower. The make, if it's showing a country, it might be Italian or Swedish. Why? Because when somebody is on eBay, they are searching Swedish teapot, Italian teapot, teapot sunflower pattern, teapot sun pattern, teapot brown Betty, whatever it is. Again, it's thinking like a buyer, and the buyer knows what they want. Like the IKEA, the vintage IKEA teapot, I'll bet, again, is because I've had this happen to me where I have a favorite item and it gets damaged somehow or hurt somehow, and I want it. This happens to be like my favorite teapot, and I want it, and that's why I am on eBay searching. So the more detail, and remember, the title is searched by eBay search. And the other thing to consider is because so many shoppers are on mobile and they see the picture, and if you saw the pictures for all those ones that sold, I absolutely could see what I was buying, okay? And then the title with really good, especially like the one about the lock lid, because that is unique. Not all the teapots do that. And the reason for a lock lid, because I remember this with my mom, is when you're pouring, sometimes what can happen is that the lid will pop off because of the angle when you're pouring. So a lock lid can be very, very, very handy. Also, if you're carrying it, so I'm carrying it from the kitchen, let's say into the bedroom or into the living room, the lock lid is very, very handy. So I don't have to worry about anything spilling out on the way. So any category, but I picked tea because it's a very broad category, and teapots is something you can source in a lot of different places, is they sell. They sell nicely. But again, it's good for a variety of prices, depends on the color and style and the period, but it's definitely worth researching on eBay. So search your active listings, but check your solds, because those are ones that were bought. And look at the detail that is in the title. Are there any details like, does your lid lock? Did you not call your pattern out clearly enough? Okay. Do you have a country of manufacture that might be unusual that you could put in the title, because people would search for that? All of those things, because it helps your item to get found by buyers, and you want your right buyer. So they're looking for a teapot with a sun on it. They're looking for the brown Betty teapot so they can find yours, or a koi fish. I thought that was great. And that was unbranded, hand painted koi fish teapot sold, because that the seller knew it was a koi fish. I have all kinds of tips for you in a very special summer camp I'm running May 1st in a pop-up group on Facebook. It is completely free. It is my gift to you, but you do need to sign up for it to get the link to join the group and the worksheet. And it's eBay Seller Summer Camp with Kathy Terrell. And if you hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, you will see it, and just do it and sign up and come join us. It's so much fun. It's Monday the 2nd. It will be at 2:00 in the afternoon, but it is recorded. And it's free and in the pop-up group for several days. I go over setting goals for your eBay business, but goals that work for you. I'm going to go over all kinds of details about eBay listings, about how to get your listing sold. And I'm including some great, great, great social media tips, because all kinds of things about social media have changed recently. And social media is a great way to get traffic to your eBay listings. And I explained to you how to do it. It's free. It's one day only, May 1st. It's 90 minutes. It is recorded. So you can watch it afterwards for a few days. But come and join. The sign up is on my website. I love to be selling.com. And come and join me for eBay Seller Summer Camp. It's going to be so much fun. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling.